Hi, it's Cara, and today I'm going to call this a review, but really, it's just going to be me rambling at you, because, let's be honest, that's what I do best, yay! So today we're talking about City of Heavenly Fire. Oh, oh. So I got this bad boy Tuesday afternoon, which was its released time here in Australia, which was really stupid. 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, like, what kind of time is that? Most stores aren't even open, and I don't even know. So I picked this up as soon as it arrived in my bookstore where I work, and I started reading it late that night. I didn't get around to it straight away, which you'll have seen if you saw my whole video, because I filmed a whole video and then had to finish the book I was already reading. So I started this maybe 8 o'clock that night and finished it last night, so Wednesday, at 1:30 in the morning. So so I read this in just over 24 hours, and oh man was it good, and oh man did I get feels. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So overall, I thought this was a really good end to the series. It made a good wrap up and not only tied together the elements of this second half, or second trilogy as I like to call it, of the Model Instruments, but also really got right into wrapping up the series as a whole with characterization, all that kind of stuff, which I thought was really cool. Some characterization elements which I was like, that's a thing that'll just get ignored, and it didn't, and I liked that. So I don't really need to tell you the plot. If you're at this point, you've read the others, you know what's happening. Sebastian's taken over the world like he always wanted. Jace has fire in his veins. What else is happening? I don't even know. Magnus and Alec are broken up. My tears. And that's currently where we're sitting at the start of this. And from here on out, expect spoilers. Just saying. If you don't want spoilers right now, come back later. Because spoilers. That's where we're at this point in time. Because I can't express my feelings without going, ah! That's where we're at. So, yeah, back out now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, that's all I'm saying. Just back out now. Back out now. So, we come into this story and it's all great and actually kind of slow. I kind of found the start a little bit slow. Felt like a lot was happening without much happening at all. Like, a whole lot of plot points were happening. But there was no, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. I went, oh, that was a major plot point, and look at it, just passed on the wayside, there we go, bye. But then, by the time we got to halfway, I felt it was kicking in, we were getting there, we were getting to the important stuff. So I almost feel like maybe some of the earlier things could have been focused on more and not brushed over, but such as Jordan's death, the attacks on the institutes, everything essentially leading up to Clary, Jace, Isabel, Simon, Alec heading down into hell. Essentially everything leading up to that point felt a bit rushed, and so it was almost too slow because it was rushed, because I didn't get gripped enough by anything. I don't know, that was just how I felt, but I was fine reading it, it just felt a bit slow. Then I hit halfway and it was like, yeah, let's go, pumping, yeah. And essentially, once I hit halfway, I was gone and read continuously till I was done. So that's where we're at that point. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I really enjoyed this book as a whole. 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, only because a 5 is easy to give for me. I don't know. I either like a book, enjoy it, or I hate it. So most books I read get given a 5 because I really enjoyed it. If I read through it quickly, I didn't have to like push myself to read it. That's a 5 for me. So this was a 5. I didn't have to push myself ever to read it. It was done. I was gone. Despite the slow start, like, some things I thought happened a little bit for no reason, like Simon ending up in Maureen's cage in leather pants was only there for leather pants, because then Raphael took him away anyway, but I guess leather pants. I did like some leather pants, so I can't really complain that much. Simon in leather pants does things for me. Okay, so now that I've said some incoherent rambling, let's talk about some characters. I decided I'd split this up by characters and their individual plot lines, because everyone did have so different plot lines in this book, and everyone was having their own final growth and their own coming of age kind of thing. So I'm going to go character by character, and I have a little list sitting here, so we'll work our way through that. And by then, I've probably talked about everything I want to talk about, which is kind of a lot. Okay, so let's go from what I consider least important to most important. How about that? So let's start with Maya, Jordan, and Bat, who that little trilogy thing going on there was kind of awesome, in that Maya was kick-ass, let's be honest. She was kick-ass. Jordan, of course, died, but for some reason, I think it was the way it was a little bit glossed over. I didn't really feel it that much. It didn't make me that sad. I like Jordan, but it didn't make me that sad, so I don't know. But yeah, Jordan. But then Bat. I suddenly really started liking Bat and shipping Bat and Maya. Like, nah. They were cute, and go Maya being kick-ass and go Bat letting her being kick-ass, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Go Maya being kick-ass, because I mean, taking over the werewolves of London. They're not werewolves of London. They're not werewolves of London. Taking over the New York werewolf clan. They're not even a clan. They're a pack. Taking over the New York werewolf pack was badass, and she deserved it, and it was glorious, and it was a glorious, glorious moment, and really made me feel like Maya had realised her true potential and what she could do, and she wasn't just a monster that had no control over her future. So I thought it was really important for Maya, and I really enjoyed that. And so, yeah. Next we have Emma and Julian and the new Blackthorn kids, which I thought was a great addition to the story, especially seeing as it's obviously going to lead on to the Dark Artificers, and we can see throughout this whole novel where the little thread points of plots are coming in to make that. But they were amazing. I loved them. They were like the little cousins you root for. They were great. So Emma's parents die. Julian's mum was already dead, and his dad gets turned and ultimately dies. So we've got 2 orphans plus a whole bunch of Julian's little brothers and sisters. And oh, they're gorgeous. I'm already connected to this family, and I can't wait for the Dark Artificers, essentially. And I thought these guys gave a good point of view in this book for all the stuff that otherwise you wouldn't get any information about. You'd be relying on characters you didn't really care about to tell plot, and I really enjoyed having them there. They were great. It was just like a breath of fresh air, getting these new characters with their new... They weren't very complex. I mean, Emma and Julian are only supposed to be 12, so they don't have the same kind of complexity to their characters yet, if that makes sense. Like, they haven't had time to mature into complex characters, but you can see where that's beginning. Like, Emma's whole seeking revenge for her parents' murder, Julian trying to get his brother back, And you can see where that's going to become something that's really deep in character for them, which I'm really excited to see in the Dark Artificers. So that edition was awesome, and I think it made me... It's like when I finished Clockwork Princess, I was like, that was great. That was a really good ending to that series. Now what the hell happened in Heavenly Fire to get us there? And that's kind of what I'm excited... Like, that's kind of the same kind of feel I got for the Dark Artificers. Heavenly Fire was a great wrap-up for that series, but now what the hell's happening with them, which I think was the best way to do it ever, because she's essentially assured that people are now already kind of attached to those characters. They now really want to see what's going to happen. So, best way to sell her new series ever. So, just good job, Cassie. You did a good job there. I liked it. Next on my list is Brother Zachariah and Tessa, of course. This would be higher on my list if I didn't feel I needed to give everyone else a good say, because Brother Zachariah, come on. If you haven't read The Infernal Devices, you're missing out, because, oh, my gem. And I was reading, and I was just sitting there, and every time Zachariah was saying things, I was like, Gem, no. But I loved how Cassie carefully played it so that if you hadn't read one, you wouldn't be spoiled for the other. Or if you had read one but not the other, you wouldn't be spoiled. So, but I'm spoiling you now, I guess. I don't even know, but gosh, his plotline in this book, Gem, Zachariah, or whatever you want to call him, his plotline in this book was gorgeous, and seeing his interactions with the young everybody's, the young Herondales, Jace, Emma as a young Carstairs, it was just, even though it wasn't his Carstairs, it was his uncle's Carstairs, but family, guys. And he was just great, and I'm excited. It hinted that he might be in the next series as well, so I'm excited for that, because Gem and Tessa are like my thing. I love them. Like, I don't know if I was particularly a Gem and Tessa shipper over Gem and Will, but because I loved them both equally, so I guess I'm just like Tessa in that point. So, but Gem and Tessa, also Tessa's interactions with Clary, Tessa's interactions with everyone, just, they seemed so old, possibly because they're using more formal language, like the formalised British speak, and also they've aged a lot since Infernal Devices, but you could really tell the difference in the way they talked compared to these younger characters. But I kind of really liked that. Sometimes it felt a bit stilted and weird, but overall I really liked it, and I really liked how Tessa and Gem Gem was still so nervous to go see Tessa for the first time, and be still my beating heart, plus all the jokes they made about Gem and him stealing church. He stole church, and I just wanted to curl up in a ball because he stole church. And church will now forever be happy, and will also probably be in the next books because he'll be at the LA Institute, I'm sure, or somewhere in LA, and we'll still get to see more Church, because, like, whatever, Church is my favourite character, gosh. Okay, who's next on my list? Now that I got some Gem and Tessa feels out of my system, who's next on my list? Oh, that's right, Clary and Jace. Yeah, so, personally, I don't like Clary that much. I don't hate her. She doesn't do that much for me. She seems sometimes just... She doesn't seem as badass to me as other people seem to think she is. She just makes stupid decisions, in my opinion, a lot of the time, which is fine. You have to have a character that makes stupid decisions. But, I don't know, I just don't really relate to her that much. But the interactions between her and Jace can be hilarious. Especially the scene down in the caves. If If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read it, you shouldn't be here. That scene down in the caves, I know it was supposed to be a tender moment, but I was laughing hysterically. And all because Jason thought to take a condom into hell. Because, you know, that's what you do. Pack in your bag. What should I take with me to the demon dimensions? I don't know. I can't even touch my girlfriend right now because I have heavenly fire in my veins. And I'm not allowed to get passionate. You know what I should bring? A condom. That's... Jace. But I was cacking myself. I was laughing hysterically. So... I guess it did the job. I was hilarious. I found it so funny. Even though I know it was supposed to be a tender, heartfelt moment. But as soon as the sound of foil, I was gone. I was on the floor. It was over for me and I had to kind of collect myself before I could move on to the next scene. And then that's basically all I have to say about Clary and Jace. You know, all that. Jace made good character waypoints. I did like a lot that he came to realise that he doesn't have to be cold and protecting himself from everyone, that he can let people see who he really is. I thought that was a really good character growth for Jace, but it kind of was already happening through the rest of the series. It just kind of came to a head here. And he realised he didn't have to do things alone, which was helped along by Alec, of course, because Alec is a badass, let's be honest. But I did really like that, so that was a plus. Whereas Clary, I don't really know. Clary I never have much to say about Clary. I don't know why, but I just don't. That was my one pet peeve throughout the first 3 books, was that we didn't get enough other characters. We just had Clary, and I'm not a big fan. But I just don't like her. Nothing against her. She seems fine, just... I can't feel it. I just can't. Who's next on my list? Oh, yeah! A little bad guy! Oh, man, I love Sebastian in this. He was just as sassy as he's always been, really. Good old Sebastian, being a sass monster. But I do have to say, when Sebastian died, I felt more sad than when Jordan had died. Yeah, all that becoming the person he should have been without the demon blood, and trying to say he was sorry for what he'd done. That cut me in the heartish area, and I was gone. Didn't feel much at all for Jordan, even though I liked him as a character. Hated Sebastian, loved to hate Sebastian. Tears. Not physical tears, but practically tears. So, I don't know, I was feeling it. It hit hard. Because Jonathan. And I mean, I did find it a little bit weird that we were going through this whole plot of this whole second half of the series, and all Sebastian really wanted to do was rule over some demon realm with Clary by his side. That felt a bit weird, but anticlimactic after all the things they've done, or that they were all just something to convince Clary to join him. But I don't know, I guess it kind of humanised his character at the same time. It made you see that he was really just looking for love as he knew it. So, I don't know, it did kind of humanise him in a way. But he's still a creepy-ass mofo, so until, he dies, and then I'm crying. But what can you do? So, of course, I have Isabel next on my list, because she's a badass and has always been a badass, but I felt so bad for her coming into the end. I just, from, that the last chapter in the epilogue, I was like, Izzy. This probably comes from the fact that I myself love Simon and would totally date Simon if Simon was free to date in the real world. But I felt so sorry for her. was just like, no, no, come here, we can hug, we can get over Simon together, it's okay. Come together, let's hug it out, But it ended okay. Like, I felt that with Simon being the headstrong butt that he is, made it work. So hopefully with some character growth from both Izzy and new Simon, shall we call him new Simon? I don't know. I feel like they could get somewhere. And I'm excited to see the fan fiction that results from them getting somewhere. So I'm excited for that. Let's just say that. So who's next on my list? Magnus and Alec. Do we put them together? Do we keep them separate? I like them too much. They are like my OTP of the series. My fictional boyfriend is Simon. My OTP is Magnus and Alec. Because let's be honest, they are like the power couple of this series. They're just, and just Magnus realising he doesn't have to keep it all inside and hidden from everyone to save himself. Gorgeous. He was hilarious as always. Magnus is always hilarious. He's the funniest character, hands down, in my opinion. So, I mean, they're all hilarious. Maybe that's why I didn't like Clary, because she doesn't have as many funny lines. I don't know. But they're all hilarious. Even Alec in this book was hilarious. I'm not making you pie. And every time that he walked in on anybody making out, and it was such a big deal. Gosh, I love Alec. Can I just keep a mini Alec in my pocket? That badass. Because let's be honest, Alec just pwned in this book. He was just the mother of all badasses. I think grief from breaking up with Magnus made him into this hard shell. It's not just a shell, a hard little creature that suddenly realised he could and he should be putting his emotions closer to the front and being more outspoken and doing more things and killing more demons, which he did badassly. And just Alec. Can I have all the Alec? Just... Not today, though. I just want him to say funny things at me because he's hilarious. And, oh, man. And I really adored that we come back into this series and neither of them are particularly angry at each other anymore. They're more trying to figure out their own issues. I was concerned a lot of this book would be them butting heads again, trying to figure out where it was all sitting, but really this was all about them coming to their terms with their own problems to be able to fit together again in a nice little unit. And it was just heartbreaking and glorious. And the amount of times they kissed, well, they weren't even together, and I was sitting in the back going, whoop, 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 because, you know, Magnus and Alec, my homeboys, and, if Magnus doesn't make his own line of Sephora glitter, I'll be so sad. That has to be a thing you can get, right? I mean, Sephora does Divergent makeup, or at least they did a special edition Divergent makeup. If they don't bring out Magnus glitter, I'll be sad. But anyway, gosh. And then the fact that Magnus gave the notebook to Alec, which was essentially the Bane Chronicles in a nice little package. My friend hasn't read the Bane Chronicles yet, though she finished City of Heavenly Fire before I did. And I was so disappointed that she hadn't read it yet because she thought it wouldn't be that good. And I was like, you see there? You see when Magnus gives Alec that notebook? That's it! That's it right there! Read it. I may have convinced her. Once she's finished her book hangover, she's gonna do it. So, yeah. She should have read it already, in my opinion, but oh well. And I thought that was gorgeous. And Magnus and Alec are just gorgeous. And now they moved in together. And it's gorgeous. And that's all I have to say. Gorgeous. The only other person I have on my list is Simon. No, I've already kind of talked about him. But Simon gave me the most feels throughout this whole book. Because he's a sassy mofo. Like, the whole way through. Because that's Simon. And Simon's my fictional boyfriend. So... yeah, I want a nerdy Simon boy, and I was very sad when I didn't mind that he's no longer a vampire anymore, but I did mind that he had all his memories taken, and I'm glad that they've snuck away to get some of them back and be able to start growing again. Though, just to say, our edition here in Australia has this pull-out photo, picture, which I've seen in a lot of them. Has anyone else noticed? Simon here has runes. I noticed this before I finished. I looked at this right at the very start and I went, Simon's a vampire. Simon shouldn't have runes. Similarly, in the cartoon, in the comic strip, where is it? Simon here also has runes. Look at that. Look at that. He has a rune. And it's right there. Look at that rune. And I saw that and I was like, oh, well, Simon's now a shadow hunter. That's a thing. But why would you put in your ender Simon as a shadow hunter when he doesn't even become one in this book? I don't really get that. I don't really get that. That was an unnecessary... I didn't mind it in the cartoon, but not in the picture. It was an unnecessary... It's an unnecessary spoiler that I didn't want. Even though, of course, I didn't know why. I was horribly confused, but I still felt like I was given a spoiler I didn't want. So, I don't know. Yeah, can I just have a Simon? And the fact that his band name was the Mortal Instruments, I just wanted to, Simon. This is my feels for Simon. I'm just waving my hands in the air. Also, I feel like all I've done in this whole review was wave my hands in the air, but that's all I have to say. I don't have coherent feelings about this because look at it. It's one big mass of incoherent feelings. So, yeah. Yeah, that was my reading experience of City of Heavenly Fire, and I'm really excited for the Dark Artists. I'm really excited for the Bane Chronicles to come out in a volume I can buy and stick on my shelf. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm sad that this is now over. Hopeful that I would get some more Simon time in the future, even if it's only like some short stories or something. I want to see Simon and Izzy coming together again. The new Simon without his memories and the Izzy missing the old Simon that had his memories. And I want more of that. But, oh man. So many feels in this book. So yeah, I gave it 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. It was glorious. If you've read it, you can't be here if you've read it. Let me know what you thought, your opinions on this lovely piece of work, in my opinion. Let me know what you thought, if you agreed with me, disagreed with me, funny quotes that you found, put them down there. I love funny quotes, and I laughed so hard during so much of this book. Mainly from Alec, Simon, Jace as always, my 3 boys of hilariousness, and Magnus, my 4 boys of hilariousness. Just tell me what you thought was the best parts and the worst parts. I reckon the best part for me was Magnus and Alec and the sharing of the book. And my saddest part was Simon Lizzie's memories. So they're my best and saddest. Tell me your best and saddest below. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there before I ramble on for another half hour of incoherent bumbling. Bye! Oh, and I'll be back with my May wrap-up and my June TBR in a couple of days. Bye!